First of all, let me say, yay! Thank y'all so much. This means the world. So we have, when she comes, she had to just go relieve herself. We just finished eating lunch. Her name is Melinda, and she just flew in from Florida. There's Melinda now. And before I pass it on to her, I just want to go over a couple of house spots that we want to discuss. So we're recording in the back so that some residents that either had doctor's appointments or just couldn't make it, they can see the recording. And we wanted to remove the obstacles of anyone not seeing it. The reason why we're using two mics, so Melinda will be speaking through that one. Once we get to the questioning piece, I'll be passing the mic around because from what I learned, Daniel, everyone loves Daniel. He let us know that you have to use the mic, so if a resident is going to look at the recording, they can't hear unless we use this. So I want everybody to keep that in mind as you're going to ask your questions, just to speak in the mic so folks, later on in the day that wants to look at the recording can hear. This is super important. And thank you, Melinda. I'm going to pass it over to you for flying in from Florida to share the wealth of knowledge of your voice. What you say goes a long way. And so with that being said, thank you for coming. Much appreciated. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Melinda. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. First, I have to say your home here at Springmore is very beautiful. And I can understand why you chose this to be your home. So I've seen a lot of places, and this has got to be like the number one place I've seen. So, yes, beautiful home. So today, our agenda, we're going to first talk about the history and introduction of myself and Happy or Not, how to use the Smiley Touch kiosk, why your feedback is important, how it is reported, and then at the end, I'm going to show you some analysis of previous Springmore feedback. So, first of all, my name's Melinda Wright, and I have been with Happy or Not for about a year now, but I have 30 years of experience in making customers happy. I am the dedicated customer success manager for Sodexo, and now I will tell you a bit about Happy or Not. So Happy or Not has been making the world a happier place since 2009. Our owner launched this industry based on a bad customer experience he had many years ago. He actually, as a small child, went into a video store to buy a video game, and the employee there was quite rude to him. And he left feeling like he wished that there was a way that he could let them know how it made him feel and how that experience made him feel. And so out of that became Happy or Not. And now there is a process in place where you can tell people when you're happy and when you're not. We are dedicated to helping our customers overcome these challenges and to make positive changes based on real customer feedback. We provide this tool to assist Springmore to make positive changes based on the feedback that each of you give. We have sold and delivered our systems to over 135 countries and have supported our customers in these markets to their satisfaction. As of today, we have over 1.5 billion responses collected with millions more daily. We collect so much feedback because our systems are the best and designed to capture the voice of our customers. They're also very easy to use. We have 4,000 brands that love us, and we're proud of the relationships we have built through feedback. We feel strongly that we succeed only when our customers do. That's why partnering with Happy or Not isn't just being our customer, it's being part of our happy family. Now here's a short video that explains Happy or Not a little bit in more detail.
Success is in the details. Customer satisfaction isn't always about happiness over a big purchase or excellent service. Most often, it's about the little things, and shown through little signals. Of course, the big things matter, but the little things pile up and affect whether the customer wants to return, whether they recommend your service to others, whether they start building loyalty towards your brand, whether your business thrives. That's what Happy or Not is here for, to gather little signals where and when they happen, and to build a view of the big picture and keep you and your colleagues up to date on what those signals are telling you. You've probably seen our smileys and maybe even interacted with them. They're fun, they're inviting, they're simple and anonymous, but their friendliness hides a powerful function, gathering the happiness pulse of your customers at business-critical touchpoints in real time. Our smileys tell you where you stand, but they also provide you and your colleagues with the opportunity to immediately react to that feedback. Easy to interpret, they make it easy for each and every employee to see how you are performing and do something about it, even on your own. Beyond the immediate ability to improve your service, the feedback provides a means to follow your performance over an extended time period. See how different actions affect the customer experience. See what's working and what's not. The key is in the approachability as well as simplicity of Happy or Not. Quick, anonymous, and in the moment. Happy or Not encourages people to report on their encounter, and its presence alone already reflects a positive image of your brand. So, stop guessing how you're doing. Stop wondering how your service affects your sales. Find out if your customers are happy or not, and do something about it. Happy or Not, it's good to know.
So now we're going to talk about the Happy or Not, the actual kiosk and the interface workflow. Can everyone see the kiosk here, or should I move it back a little bit? Can you see it okay? So here you see on the right, and hopefully you're familiar with our actual kiosk. These are located in the north and south dining, the bistro, and the grill. So it's a tablet-style screen. It's very fast and easy to use. It's anonymous. So you have a main question, which is how was your dining? Then you have follow-up questions, and you also have an option to type in free-form comments. So Springmore Management knows that the only way to know if your customers are really satisfied or not is by asking for feedback, which becomes very important, very crucial. You've got to ask them some way, because judging through faces doesn't help. If you're not satisfied, then they are on the wrong route. Springmore needs to make changes and to know what you as residents like the best. It's all about meeting expectations to improve. It's not going to happen in a day, but small steps need to be taken to ensure the same. Achieving positive dining reviews is an ongoing task. To succeed, leadership must invest itself fully in the dining program. Consistently request feedback, be open to constructive criticism, act quickly and effectively, which Springmore is dedicated to do. So if I had to guess, a majority of you have spent I can't talk today. If I had to guess, a majority of you have spent decades cooking for your own families. You're going to the dining room with your own views based on your own experiences. Many times that can just be added flavor that rounds out an already delicious meal. This information would be very helpful in making positive changes in the meal preparation. And if your meal was delicious, Springmore wants to know that too. So here again, your Happy or Not kiosk locations. You have one in the bistro, north dining, south dining, and the grill. So how to interact with the Smiley touchscreens. It's very simple. The first question is, how was your dining experience? You see the bright green, that means you're very happy. The light green means happy. The light red or pink is unhappy. And the dark red, of course, is very unhappy. So after you choose one of those buttons, if you choose the green buttons, it's going to ask you, so what was good? And then you have 6 choices to choose from. And then if you choose the red smileys, it's going to come back with what could be improved. And again, you can choose one of the areas. And then you also have open feedback. And this is where, for example, you could type in, the soup of the day was delicious, or the soup of the day needed more flavor. And one of the best things about this open feedback is your comment cannot be lost. It is in the system, it's in the computer. You cannot delete it. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure in previous times you had comment cards where you might write down what was good or what was bad. And I don't know, sometimes maybe the bad ones, maybe they didn't get to the right people, to be honest. In this case, it's in the system. Nothing can be erased. So that kind of gives you peace of mind that your opinion matters and it is being listened to. And there's no way to delete it. So again, your feedback is crucial for change. Without that, no change can take place. So Happy or Not enhances your customer experience, highlights issues, and brings ways to fix them. It's one of those things that simply work. And again, your opinion matters, and it's very, very important for change to take place. Now the magic happens. And I'm going to show you that after you've touched the machine and you've given your feedback, now I'm going to show you what happens to that information that you give. So this is what management will get every day, and they will be able to use this to get a pulse of the feedback that you give every day. This is updated in real time, so management will always have the correct information. The Happy or Not reporting will allow them to look at details by the location and see the follow-up responses that they need to attend to. This way they can focus on the areas that need immediate attention. So I was able to go back and look at some feedback responses from January and compare them to March. In January, you had about 143 responses, and in March, you already have 255. So it's almost doubled, and that's a great job. However, if we just do a quick math, and there's 600 of us, and we eat 3 meals a day, our number should be over 1,000. Two meals? 1 meal a day. So we at least should be probably 500 maybe, realistically. So we're getting there. You're halfway there. We're at 255. So Springmore will check your feedback regularly, and they're going to keep track of your results and be able to see the direction that they are heading in. But they're also going to share these results with you every month so that you see how they're improving or how they're not improving, or that way you know when you're actually giving that feedback, it's going somewhere and it's going to make a difference. So what I did is I went back and looked at data from March 1st to March 29th. And I'm going to share with you the reports that management will see. And management here will get them weekly, daily, or monthly. Some get them all 3. So the first report shows a daily distribution. This shows, if you look at the bottom, each day is listed. And it shows you how many responses and if it was primarily green or primarily red for that day. And then here's an hourly distribution. So you can actually pinpoint the hours of the best service or the best meals according to your feedback will all be here. They also can look at total results. And I think this is where they'll be sharing with you every month the total results. And you'll see that number. I know you'll see it go up because Springmore is dedicated to taking your opinions and trying to make it right for you. But they need your feedback in order to do that. So here's a comparison. So you see you have the bistro, the grill, South Dining, and North Dining. And just taking a quick look, you see the bistro probably has more favorable responses than the North Dining. So that's good for management to know because maybe something the bistro's doing is something they can share with North Dining to improve that experience for you. So those are the reports that they receive. So you can see that your information just isn't going in a black hole. It's data that has results, that has charts and graphs, and they can analyze the information. So this is a quote from the well-known Bill Gates. "We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve." And it's a simple quote, but it speaks volume. So please give your feedback after each meal. Springmore needs your feedback in order to make positive changes and improve the dining experience that you have here at Springmore. So the key takeaways today. Number one, your feedback is absolutely crucial to the success of this. Number two, happy or not, the kiosk is so easy to use. And when I'm done, I would like for you to come up and actually use it, and we'll walk through it, and you can see how easy it is. So the Happy or Not kiosks are located in the bistro, north and south dining, and the grill. But you also have access on your Touchtown resident portal, and you can give your feedback there as well. Last but not least, Springmore cares about your feedback and wants to make positive changes here, but they need your help. So please use your Happy or Not kiosk every day and let them know how they are doing. So thank you very much. But I would like to open it up for questions or comments, and Sam can assist me.
Just want to make sure that Springmore management is dedicated to giving us, the residents, the results that you just showed us on a monthly or weekly basis.
They have assured me.
Not just the one pie chart, but the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So what happens is I'm getting access today. And then the management team is also, I'm going to make sure everyone has a profile created, which I know some do. And then every week on Mondays, we get a report. So what we'll do is we'll post a report on Touchdown, and then we'll post it in the dining area. And you'll see the percentages. For instance, last week there was a 78% satisfaction rate, but there was some comments that, will help us understand how to get that number higher. Without your feedback, we can't get the number higher. And the nice, cool thing about this does buckets. Like, out of 200 residents, 50% said this, 20% said this. Right now, we wasn't really working on data or feedback. So some of your concerns, let's say I heard a lot about the dressing on Sunday. Lord knows, I heard about dressing. And but can you imagine, let's say if, God forbid, I'm hearing about the dressing that Monday, because I got to tell you, as soon as I stepped foot Monday morning, I was walking through like I normally do. Can you come here for a minute? I thought they were going to say good morning. They did. Let me tell you about the dressing yesterday. I said, okay. But can you imagine if I had to do missionary work in Tahiti or something? Sometimes the word don't get out, but by using this tool, regardless, it will get out. So the power of your voice means something. It means the world. Also, the things that we're doing well. So if there's a product, like for instance, I heard a lot of good comments today about the ribs. Who had ribs today? Was it good? Yes. I heard a lot of great comments about the ribs. We need to know that too, so the ribs will be on a regular rotation, or maybe you might want it once a week. I don't know. But it's those type of logistics and your feedback that will weigh on this tool. Because whatever you say, like Melinda stated, it will not go away. On the other hand, when we had the comment cards, I'm not saying it's bad, but I've never in 30 years worked at any place that I had a management team take 300 or 400 comment cards and say, well, let me count how many didn't like the corn. Okay, 75 didn't like it. Let me count how many didn't like this. I've never seen that before. Because ultimately, we don't have the labor, some management team don't have the time, and some teams I did work on took it personal. Where this is not, this machine don't care about emotions at all. What it cares about is your feedback. So I'm imploring, please, that's why this training was so important, and thank you, Melinda,
Oh, thank you for having me.
for coming out. This to us is almost the lifeblood of what we do. Yes, and now we open for questions like Melinda said.
I'm curious. I tend to use it on my wonderful new Touchtown. I love it. I am not going to go and do it in front
That's fine.
and there. But if you're timing it, how do you know which meal I ate at if I'm using the portal? Wait a minute, I'm not done. And sorry about that. Okay, so that's the first question. So how do you know what time of day it is that I'm talking about? Do I need to put, like if I'm in the grill versus in the dining room, that I had a hamburger versus having the main course in the dining room, how does that get accounted for? And when you said you had 255 responses, do you mean 255 in a day, or did you mean 255 all month?
All month.
That's what I thought. So now we've got 500 residents that are eating a meal, and so you're not where you want to be. What is your goal?
I mean, ideally, in a perfect world.
Well, it's
it
not
would-
perfect.
Right. But yeah, it would be nice if everyone, because that's what's going to change. As long as they have the
Okay, what is your realistic goal?
realistic goal would be 80% of that.
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, so those are my questions. Sorry.
And he can answer the first one.
80% for every meal.
That's
That would be ideally.
ideal. And to answer your question about what time of day, can you go to the slide?
Sure.
If I'm in my apartment and I don't do it until 10 o'clock at night, how do you know when I ate?
Well, you would, she's going to go to the slide if you do it in real time, right? Or if you, let's say if you ate lunch at 1 o'clock, you got things to do, and we understand that, and you get in the comfort of your home and decide at 4 o'clock to fill it out. What I recommend is just to put, hey, whatever the comment is, and I did eat at the grill, it was a burger, I enjoyed it, that kind of thing. Because it's only going to input the data according to what time you put it in. Sure.
We found today that the location is also specific to the kiosk. So when we put it on Touchtown, it is only sending that data to one of the 4 locations. So that's going to be corrected. Ben's going to send me links to all 4. We're going to put it on the portal based on the venue that it is, and you can enter it for that venue. So that basically clears that up. So it doesn't solve the time issue, but the venue will be resolved. Yeah, and they'll get the feedback in their charts and whatnot based on the venue that you put your feedback in. And I'll send a message out when that's cleared up and I have the information.
Questions, please. This is your time while Melinda's here. Give us your thoughts, what questions you might have, anything that comes to mind. This is a free zone.
So let me ask you today, how many have you used the service in the past? Raise your hand.
Okay.
As of today. So, as of tomorrow, moving forward, how many will at least try to use the service? Yes. It's okay, as long as you try. And do we have any volunteers that would like to come up and just try?
Please, 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 please. You see how easy it is. Yep, there you go.
I keep forgetting to bring this with me. I'm not a public speaker, just so you know. I'm sure you've realized that. But anyways, okay, so volunteer?
And Roger, you get to pick what you want to take over here, too. You get more.
That's so funny, because in the first session, it was a gentleman who wanted to come up too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Yay, thank you.
You want any of this? Oh, you got it? Okay.
Okay, so we'll base this on today, on your dining, did you dine with us today?
Of course.
Okay, well, great. So how was your dining experience?
Good.
Okay, what was good?
I can take it all or none.
Right.
That's right.
Taste the food.
Well, no, I'm sorry, you can only choose one at a time, but if you do the leave open feedback, you could actually add the other items that you were great about. Okay, so let me go back.
Okay.
I thought it was going to end up being on the screen. That's very good,
That's better.
Okay.
Okay, so how was your dining experience? And he said, very happy. And so what was good? So you have options to choose from, and you can only choose one option. So choose the one option that you want, or you also could choose something else and then type in, it was the taste of food and the quality of service.
If you were reading this, it says,
Thank you.
Okay, go back.
taste of food, quality of service, entree options, or something else, which would go in the comment section. But I did find it strange that I couldn't poke all
Poke-
four of them.
Right, right. So
I had 2 good meals.
that's good. So here, if you do the taste of food
Sure.
and then leave open comment, and you could type in, had 2 great meals
Is
today.
there going to be another sign talking about service? That they brought it efficiently, quickly?
That's where I would write that right there.
Okay. You want me to do all that?
You don't have to, but you understand.
Any asides?
Right.
That
Anything that you want to highlight. I mean, if you want to say the broccoli was great today, the broccoli was mushy today, whatever comments that you feel like that Ben and his team could really use
Yeah, you just,
to make changes.
it'd be harder to qualify, but he needs to read it.
Oh, and he will.
He Yeah, doesn't I have a choice, understand. 'cause Got it.
It's a report that he
Okay.
gets.
What's the next question?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah,
So while
that was it.
while y'all here, can you just hit and go over what the subjects are again? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
I need the
okay.
microphone.
Yeah. Go over the subjects, Mr. Robert.
Bar this.
Yes.
Okay, the 4 choices are taste of food, quality of service, and that answers my question that I had, and entree options or something else where you would then write it. And are we writing with our finger? Then that space needs to be bigger.
Where?
This, if I'm writing with my
Oh,
finger.
well, see, no, you type.
Okay, got it. All right, so got it.
500 characters.
All right. Let's give Mr. Roger a hand, first of all.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
We have another
We
volunteer.
do need you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
So how was your dining experience?
Today it was,
Okay. And what was good about it?
let's see. Okay, now what do I do now?
So you just hit whichever button.
Taste of, let's see, quality of food. Let's see. Something else.
Okay. And so just type in
Okay. and
what it was.
What it was.
Okay.
Let's see. Here's E.
Okay, perfect. And then you just hit submit,
Okay.
and that's it.
Wow. Let's give her a hand. So I'm timing it. It took her 2 minutes. Just FYI, I wanted to see, because some people, are faster than others. I wanted to see how long it took. It was 2 minutes.
Yeah, again, thank you. I'm looking at this, and there's four main subjects. You got soup, salad, entrees, and dessert. And I think we ought to be able to break down each one individually, whether we're happy or not with them, and then make comments at the end.
That's
for
a good
everything.
idea, and that can be changed, Ben. So what they're saying is if they were to hit, okay, they're happy, and then instead of saying what was good, they would like to have dessert, soup. Is that what you mean here, is for the choices?
I meant the individual items. How was the salad today? I remember getting
Okay.
salad one time, and the salad was all brown. The lettuce was all brown on the
Oh,
outside.
wait a minute. I'm sorry.
They're wilted. They're just not very, very good. And then the soups can vary between fantastic and, oh my God, why did I bother? And then, of course, your entree levels and your desserts. And I think all four of those, I think, would be helpful for us to be able to explain, are we happy or not with all four of those choices?
Not just an overall.
Not,
About one thing and unhappy about another in the same meal.
So I got you. What would you say?
You can, yeah, you can be very happy with one thing and in the same meal be very unhappy with another piece. And his suggestion would allow you to address that.
And how I would do that is I would first do, how was your dining experience? It was very happy. And then go in and type what you were happy about. And then, how was your dining experience? Go back in and do one where it wasn't.
So you're saying the same person would have four, you're saying the
You
same
could.
person would have four
You could,
options.
but the way I would probably do it, that's if you wanted to do the happy or the unhappy. But you could do the happy, and then in your comment section, add everything.
Do a unhappy and it show if the options change.
No, the options are the same: taste of food, quality of service, entree options, quality of food. So if you chose entree options, and you went to leave open feedback, here you could type in the lettuce was brown, the soup was cold. You could type in exactly what the problem was, and you have 500 characters. Does that answer or does that help?
Well, I just want to piggyback, if you don't mind, off what he said. So let's put this in perspective. We can say that because I want to know, right? So on one of the sections, it does say entree options because this tablet is but so big. So if we do entree options, can we change that to say, meal options from soup to entrees or soup to, we can play with the wording, but I want you to be cognizant that this screen is but so big. So that's why the feedback piece is super important, why they have the 500 characters, because we have different things every day. And it would be very difficult for us to fit all that in, but with the subsections, it says quality of food. It does cover, if we want to be more specific and say, break it down to soup, salad, that might be a little challenging because this is only but so big, but we got the comment. But we also, if there's 5 different questions. One is taste of food. The other is quality of food. The other is entree options, quality of service, or something else. We can do something else and say, if everyone prefers that, we can say, instead of saying something else, we can put side items, or we can say soup, salad, and desserts. Out of the 5 questions, 3 of them concentrates on food. Because when you come to dining, food is a predominant player. But we can change the language. Instead of saying something else, we can say soup, dessert, salad. That's fine. It's whatever makes anyone. We're trying to appease as many people as we can because it's all important. But out of the 5 items, 3 of them does concentrate on food. And there is another piece that concentrates on service, quality of service, because that's just as important too. But like you said, food has a lot of components. So if we want to change the wording, if you guys feel comfortable with that, instead of saying something else, we can say whatever we want to say. We can say soup, salad, dessert, or we can say accompaniments. Well, that way we can kind of generalize that section, because this only can hold, I mean, just like anything, because I think I heard a comment that says, well, we got to do a lot of typing. It will be a whole bunch of stuff on here if we was to break down everything. It would be a little difficult. And then for folks that, the words will get smaller. That's what I'm saying. The words will get a lot smaller. So does that make sense? I just want to make sure I get your feedback and to be able to give you the best experience.
And if I could add something to it, the reason why that it's broken out that way is because it's very easy to compare data. And if you start changing your options or changing even your survey question every month or every week, then you're not able to compare the data. So you're not able to see the trends or the problems. So this makes it a little bit easier to see the trends when you keep the question and the options the same.
I think that the something else statement leaves things wide open, and we can comment on any aspect of the meal.
Well, you can.
Yes, in the comments. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
My husband was talking, and I understand what you're saying about making it too complicated or not being able to get the feedback. But he was talking about the 5 different parts of the meal. So if we could do that, in with entrees also include sides.
Yeah.
So entrees and sides, and then
Right.
something else would be the soup, salad, and desserts. So at least that way, we're not going in and out trying to answer your question.
No, you could, because there's room, I believe there's room for 6. You have 5. So we could add that.
So the recommendation would be entree and sides, and then something else would turn into,
Soup, salad, and desserts.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Again, not to beat a dead horse, my friend, but again, getting back to Sundays, the dressing on the turkey, that one item could lend somebody to say, I had a lousy meal because of one side item.
Yeah.
And what I'm suggesting is if you would break it down into the 4 or 5 items, that kind of eliminates that bias that the program has to that.
Right. And again, that's kind of where the comments come in and where you're able to say, the turkey was bad, or the dressing was bad, but the turkey was really good. So you could always add that in the comment section.
I would like it to be specific on at least one item, and then general on some others. But maybe you could pick the specific item that you think is bad, and then do general on the others if you can. Is that flexible?
It is flexible. It is flexible. But as I was explaining, the whatever you decide on, the options and the questions, you want to keep them for at least a 6-month period, and just so that you can analyze the data and compare it, see where you can improve. What have you improved on? It's very helpful. We've noticed when people are changing it quite often that you're not really getting the data. You're getting the data, but you're not able really to analyze it and do anything with the data.
Well, with your screen up there, do you know more about the meal on the left side than you do on the right side, the specifics of why it was that way?
So can you go to the comment section on your presentation? So just go to the comments. Good question, too. So she's going to go to the comment section. This is an area nobody can change. And I don't want nobody to change it because I want to understand what we're doing well and what we need to improve upon. So, and I don't know if we can we can slide that a little bigger.
Can I make the slide bigger?
On the bottom, there is a plus and minus piece somewhere. Daniel left. Oh, Daniel, can you show us the plus and minus one?
That's a vision thing on the computer settings. I'm not sure if that's exactly going to change it.
Okay.
On the screen. She's doing it in slide view. There we go.
Okay. Right? And so we just made it a little bigger, and just keep in mind, we're doing the same thing with this as the tablet as well. But to answer your question, sir, this specifically gives a time or date. It gives when it was done. Like, for instance, a month ago. Let's say I got a high percentage a month ago that the dressing wasn't good. No, this is right here. It has February 8th, 2022.
But that was input by the resident.
Uh-huh. That's what I need.
Program.
Yeah, this is real stuff. This is what residents are saying. Because we wanted to give you real-time information. So it has where it came from. It has the date and what was said. And then it has the time period where it was done at a month ago. This is where your feedback and the tracking and the buckets, as I explained to you, is vital. If a month ago, if I have the same problem, there's a problem. Would you agree? Because it's showing that we're not reading the data. And this data we can read every day. A report comes out once a week on Mondays that we're going to share with administration. So they will get, like clockwork, every Monday this report. Because your feedback is not only vital, but we feel transparency is vital. You can't go to the doctor and what's wrong? Nothing. And there's something wrong, he can't fix it. Am I right? So think of us as food doctors. We want to fix it. So can you slide?
I can't. And just to let you know,
Wonderful.
this data was from February, so that's why it says a month ago. But if I was to look at a daily view, it would show the timestamp on it. It's just I went back and looked at it a month ago and brought the comments.
So do you see this? We can understand where we got some of the best feedback, and we can also understand where we got some of the not so best feedback. So, and then I'm going to pass it back to Melinda. Open question, please. Any questions? Do you understand why this is so important to us? We can't address anything without your feedback. Because if I'm going to somebody, maybe somebody got a not busy day, something's going on, and we're verbally saying, that's great, but this doesn't go away. We need your help. In other words, I'm really asking for your help. Because we want to make sure you have the best experience. I'm human, I might forget.
I just wanted to ask, when you actually have these shown up here, do we ever see that when we put our things in? Does this come up for us to see?
Yeah, well, what we're going to do, we're going to print this out for you to see.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Her question was, okay. To answer your question, thank you. Great question. We're going to print this out for you to see. There's no secret agendas. There's no hidden doors. Transparency is the name of the game. Would you agree that would be helpful? right? And by these stamps, like I said, this here says a month ago. This is giving us opportunity to say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Let's say if something doesn't really sell well, nobody likes it, why are we going to keep having it on the menu? Right? Why are we going to keep having it on the menu? So this is why data is extreme. I go on data. I go on, obviously, word of mouth. But me, I'm programmed. I'm just being honest with you. I'm programmed on data. Because without data, I can't do my job. I can guess. I can get a couple of feedback from residents that said today, oh, it was really great. 2 says that, but 98 says not so great. I'm going to go by what I hear if I don't go by on data. So I'd rather go by on facts. This is facts. All right, question. And like I said, please, any questions? Melinda's here. Please, whatever you got, she's the expert. She can answer it.
When you see this report and you see what your best hour, best day are, and what your worst hour and your worst day, what do you do with that?
Let's go back to the dressing. There's a point while I'm mentioning the dressing. I come in Monday, I got my chef uniform on. You, come here. And I'm looking, who are they talking to? Ben? Oh, okay. I own that. So I own it, right? So I went and they told me their experience. Like I said, I'm not going to forget that because I'm not going to lie to you. And then Shannon even told me the same thing. She said she heard it as well. So I'm not going to really forget that. But if I have people talking to me in passing, I'm going to be honest with you. I got a good memory, but it ain't the best sometimes. But here, it doesn't take memory. So by going best days or what's worse, I can take that information and I can report it out to my team, and then I can do some root cause analysis. Why was it like that? Let's go through the recipe. That's the first reference I go to, the recipe, because that's a standard, right? And then once the cook shows me what he did, I can share with them, well, you did it wrong. Let me show you some information I got from the residents. And once they, you know what, I made a mistake. Whatever it was, we can address it. So by going with best data or worst data, it helps me react accordingly. It's all about reacting accordingly. Am I right? So, any other questions? Yes, please, bring them on.
Well, first of all, some of the definitions of what things are, I don't really understand. When do I decide if it's the taste of food that bothered me or I liked, or the quality of the food? Where do I draw the line on that? Is everybody going to draw the same line? Otherwise, it's a mixed up bunch of data right there. You've got apples and oranges thrown in the same pot. Quality of service, is this behind the line? Is it who's waiting on the table? They didn't bring my water quick enough. You know, what they only brought me one dip of ice cream rather than two, that sort of thing.
That's the comments.
And but how, okay. I've taken one, so I chose taste of food, and it turned out that what I recorded was something more relative to the quality of it. Or the same with the entree, and then also the entree options. How do people define that? Is it because you didn't have anything there that day that I liked, or you had all three of them that I liked, and now I'm really confounded, and my poor schizophrenic brain doesn't know what to do. The other thing, when you see a report like this, I have no idea what the arrows up mean underneath these solid numbers there on the report to know, is that because it's up and in better, and on the right side where it's a negative statements, I presume that's all the red ones over there that we don't see, but is an arrow up there mean that that's a good thing, or is that a bad thing? that you got more negatives. To try to understand if we're going to be given this sort of a thing to look at. So part of the definitions to me are the understanding of what the, just like the bank periodically sends you a thing whenever they change your statement. They say, this is the way you need to read your statement because otherwise you thought you'd just gone bankrupt or whatever.
Right, right. And this is the management view. So I wanted to kind of share with you what they're going to look at and how they're going to analyze. And this is really for them to analyze the arrows going up and the arrows going down and the trends. And I shared this with you just so you can kind of get a visual of what they see. Now, the report's going to be very simple in what you see. It's going to be very clear. You will understand exactly what it is.
Is there an example?
Yes.
There you go. And while she's looking for the example, let's unpack what you said. All right. You mentioned one thing about perception. Like when you said quality of food, what does that mean, right? It's your perception. So, for instance, I heard one lady tell me the other day that she loved the salmon. On the same exact line, another person said it was too dry. I mean, the same thing. So it's what your perception is. Because what I like, maybe you might not like. As far as quality of service, that could be anything from a young man that's going through training that says, and maybe I'm sure none of y'all ever heard this, are you finished with that yet? Are you done yet? Versus somebody that went through the training a little bit more advanced said, excuse me, sir, are you finished with your meal? May I remove this from your table?
I mean, where is it located from? Is it from the serving line? Is it from do you get that info to know if it's?
Yes, because you was like, so.
You would specify that in comments.
Yes, sir. So here under the buckets, it has taste of food, entree options, quality of food, and then we do have the something else. From what I heard, y'all prefer for me to put the soup, salad, entree option versus something else. So you can add, let's say if it says entree options, you can put whatever face, whether you were pleased, happy, not so happy, and then it says leave open feedback. For that day, because if it's salmon day, it's salmon day. You would say, the salmon for lunch was great, whatever comment, but it would be under the entree bucket. So you can specify under the entree subsection, but then what was it you like? Was it the chicken? Was it the salmon? We can determine what that is looking at the menu. So you can just capsulate your comment and say, hey, the fish was good, the chicken, whatever it may be. But it does have the buckets, entrees, it has the taste, and it has the quality. And we're going to change to something else, but you can specify within that. We just want to be able to get as much information, because this is not a big, and I don't want to make the words really, really small, because the more we start adding, the words are going to get small, I can tell you now. But we want to be able to put them in buckets. And then you can specify your perception. Because what you like or think quality of service is, she might not think so. So I'm depending on what your feedback is and your perception is. Melinda?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, me again. What happens to, on the comment section, the meal, as far as the entree was great, but then I've got comments that are negative about the salad, the soup, the sides, and or the dessert. Where do those negative comments go? After I've said, well, okay, I was happy with the entree, but I didn't like any of the other four. What happens to that?
It still goes into your comments. It doesn't go away.
But how is that integrated into what you see? As far as I need to work on my sides, I need to work on the salads. How is that integrated?
So before Melinda shows her screen, so on the day of the service, right? Let's say you input December 21st, right? And you'll say, the entree was great, but the sides needed some work. this is the size. I know that day what was on that menu. And when you tell me what the size, you know, what you like, what you didn't like, it's going to go all in your comments. But that day stamp is going to determine what items was on the menu. If you want to put more information, that's great, but whatever you put in there doesn't go away. So I'm going to see it regardless. I'm going to see your comments.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm going to see your comments.
you see the comment that was just added about the ribs did not have enough meat on the bone? So that was given today at 3:30 at 1:28. So the best waffle I had in years. Chicken livers. But the shrimp and grits were excellent, which I love shrimp and grits, so. But see where it says, okay, so this is a perfect example to what you were saying.
Yes, exactly. The comment about shrimp and grits?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So it has,
Go ahead.
which is great because you're going to see these comments.
Go ahead, Melinda.
So it says the shrimp and grits were excellent. White meat chicken breast was tough and overcooked. Brussels sprouts yummy, and salad was very good. So they basically went through everything they ate, and they had a comment about each entree, or I don't know if you call it shrimp and grits, entree, and white meat, but at least that they put their negative comments in with the positive,
That's a
which is
perfect
fine.
example.
So it does show where your comments, you can put both. Let's see what else.
I guess I'm confused about if that person with the shrimp and grits loved it and it was good, and he had a happy meal face, but he did all the other negative stuff on the sides and dessert, what I'm asking is, where does that go? He wasn't happy with that.
Right.
He was disappointed in it.
I mean, in a perfect world, he should go in and do another comment and make a happy face and then put what he's unhappy about.
So literally make a comment for every item on the menu?
Well, hopefully you're either going to have you could do one comment and just list the foods that you were unhappy with.
Or can I say something, Melinda? Or
Maybe,
if,
am I still not?
or if you really want to make sure that it goes into the bucket. Remember we talked about buckets? So let's take the shrimp and grits, for instance. You do the happy face, quality or taste of food, you do that, and then you will put in the open feedback, the shrimp and grits were excellent, done, submit. After that, if you want to put it in the correct buckets, you will go to the not so happy face. And then you will put quality of food, however you want to differentiate the bucket, whether it's taste or quality, you would do that, leave open feedback, and then you would say chicken breast was tough and overcooked.
Okay, dummy just got
You,
it.
no.
Okay, sorry. It was hard to explain it. Yes.
Yes, yeah, no, I wanted to make sure. No. I'm sorry, Melinda, go ahead.
No, thanks, Ben, because I wasn't explaining it, so sorry. My apologies.
Oh.
Thank you. I have a comment about the chocolate. It was supposed to be chocolate silk pie last night. And I understand we don't get everything we order, and we ended up with pecan pie, which was fine. Pecan pie is high in calories and sweet. Now, if that isn't enough, they actually poured chocolate syrup on top of this already super sweet pie and a spoonful of whipped cream.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, are you trying to give us sugar diabetes?
So, good points. Now that we heard the feedback, something like that, we can make sure that we have an option to have a drizzle sauce on the side and the whipped cream, because some residents actually wanted that, right? Because everyone has a different preference. That's just the world we live in. Everyone has a different. Now, I agree with you, but some folks like that, and they ate it up. But to open the versatility of a particular item that does have a higher sugar intake, we can have the whipped cream on the side and the drizzle sauce on the side for those that choose to have it and for those that choose not to. So that's a good comment. So we can instruct our team just to have those items on the side, because the dessert area, it is a cold bar.
Okay.
So, wait, I'm sorry.
Okay, but
Can I-
going back to that, where would she have put that in the happy or not? Bring it back.
Yes,
Or
ma'am. Answer
something
that.
else.
I'm going to answer that.
I am a terrible typist. For me to stand in front of this and type all that in, it's just not going to happen.
You can do it as simple as you want.
Yes, but then if I do it simple, you don't get details. And you can't fix it without details.
That's correct. No, that's correct. But and before I give this to, thank you so much, Ms. CJ. So this is the option that everyone has. Now, on one hand, some people either don't have the patience or they don't really want to type in everything, and that's fine. Feedback is very powerful, right? On the other hand, and I'm just putting it out there, if you don't give us specific feedback, it will take us much longer to correct items. Now, I'll go at your pace. If you okay with us taking our time, a little bit more time, a little bit more, to be more meticulous, that's fine. It's what makes you happy. I'm not doing it with my preferences. I'm not doing it with the team's preferences. I'm not even doing it with my likes or dislikes. I know what I prefer. I'm doing it what makes you happy to the best of our ability. It's all about you. And I want you to know that. Being said that, I heard somebody say, with great power comes great responsibility. So with this power that you have in your hand, there is some responsibility that comes with it. How you choose to use it is up to you. I'm only going to react to what you say. That's it. The whole team is only going to react with what you input. You have the power. You do. You got lots of power. And I want to be able to help everyone understand what that power represents. It represents the dining experience that all of you deserve. So, you choose to put information in, we will react accordingly. You choose not, that's fine too. But I can't react accordingly to that. So I want you to know we're here for you. And we want to make your experience the best. But we need your help. That's all. Is that fair? I'm trying to be as streamlined as possible. Our whole joy, our whole day, our whole emphasis is to make this the best. I don't want nobody talking about, well, I went so-and-so place and they had it. They're no better than us. They're no better than us. But I want you to understand that we want to do the best job, but without data, it makes it a little more difficult. Maybe somewhere else uses some other kind of, I don't know, but I know what we can do here. I know what we can do here. We're no slouches. Believe me. I told my other boss, if you want to find somebody better than me, that's fine, but good luck. Good luck. Let me know when that happens. And the whole team feels that way. But we can't do it without your help. So here, I know you was patient.
No, you answered one of my questions was, number one comment is I feel that those 4 dots are for an overall experience. That's my personal opinion. Yes. And then you get into whatever you say, if you do taste of food, the way it's set up, in my opinion, is that then when it comes to the comments, you may be divergent and you may not just talk about the tastes of food, but that's the first thing. And then if you have more comments, you use your 500 characters. And so you just use it up. And then what I'm hearing is that then you will see that. And so if my comments don't just talk about the taste of the food, you're still going to take those into consideration, even though they're out of your bucket. Is that correct?
We said everything you say.
Okay. So I think that will take into account where you like the soup and you don't like the entree or something like that. But the comments is where it needs to be specific. And the faces are for the general experience. That's my personal opinion.
No, I think that's perfect.
So I think sometimes we're trying to make it a little too hard. And if you have too many buckets, I think it's going to be too hard to analyze. So.
No, I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, he's going to see, I mean, as you can see, the comments are right there. I mean, I'm taking that straight from the reporting system that they log into. So you're seeing exactly, I mean, you just saw the comment that we entered a few moments ago. It's right there. So it's real-time data that they can go in and look at. And I mean, the feedback overall, I don't see anything about the turkey, though. When was the turkey? Oh, okay.
How do you grow animals that have more meat on the ribs?
I'm not touching that one. I am not touching that one. Nobody gonna say, well, Ben said. No.
So if you see the taco salad, there were 3 great comments. So the taco salad here must be, I mean, even myself, I'm not here, I'm not eating the food, but I can see taco salad looks, oh, here we go, turkey. Salty, what happened? Oh, here we go, so-called stuffing
Oh, there's the stuff.
was as sweet as cake.
There, that's a good point, Melinda.
So, yeah, so all the comments are right here. So even though maybe somebody said something in passing or you talk amongst yourself, which is great, but if you put it in here, it's going to actually go somewhere. So,
All right, any other questions for Melinda? And before,
If we put a personal name on all the comments that are made, will they be tossed out in general because we're naming ourselves as making those comments?
no.
Okay.
But everything is anonymous. Like, we have no idea who made any of these comments.
Unless you make your name a part of it.
Unless you yourself decide to put your name.
And it's anonymous unless you make your name a part of it, then it ceases to be anonymous.
Right. Which, you know what, sometimes you may not want to be anonymous.
And to make your name seen, you put it in the comments.
Yes.
some residents put even their room number. We seen.
But other than that, just so you know, all your information is anonymous. I can't even at Happy or Not like go in and, even though I wouldn't be able to do it, but our IT department couldn't go in and find out who wrote what. So, and that's the great part of this. It's simple, it's anonymous, so you can actually give your feedback and feel good about it and know that someone's going to look at it and do something about it. And they're not going to come knocking on your door and say, hey, why did you say that about my turkey stuffing or whatever? Yeah, it was the stuffing.
And before we close out, I know the last session, I wanted to see if any of my leaders have anything to add to this session. Shannon, no? Carla, Darrell, Joanna, you have anything to add? And Phil, thank you. Do you have anything from perspective of historical or anything? Okay.
I'd just like to make one comment. I'd like to thank Carla and Shannon both. They've been just fantastic. They've been trying their darndest and they're working on it.
Very nice.
I have a question as far as changes and consistency and that type of thing. In the past, we have had mainly cornbread dressing. And the last fiasco was a new traditional dressing. And I'm thinking, what is traditional? Because there's some people that have oyster dressing. Other people have heavy sage, onion, and celery. So what is traditional dressing? Because it's different to everybody and to every different section of the country. I mean, at least with cornbread dressing, you know what you're getting. So maybe if you're going to do traditional dressing, you need to have a little bit of a description of the main ingredients.
So all of our, and I'm sure many of you already noticed it, our entrees and sides and food items now have descriptions and nutritional analysis in front of everyone. Right?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
for that.
Thank you, that's great.
Yes.
We've been trying for years.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So now all of our, it's called item identifiers. And we even took it a little bit step further because of our clientele. And regardless of clientele, I want my kids to know what's in it too. So we also upped it a little bit and we added nutritional analysis as well. Because in our population, you have people that's on different types of modified diets. And sometimes they don't want to share it. It's it's not nobody's business. And they don't feel like sharing it unless they go to our dietitian and go through a consult. But the nutritional analysis and the item identifiers is meant to show you a capsulated version or a snapshot, what's in it, what's the main ingredients, what's the allergens, and what the nutritional content is. So traditional dressing is minus the cornbread. You know how you bake the cornbread, it has corn in it, it has different properties that traditional dressing do not. So the only difference is the bread. Long story short. Traditional dressing is just plain white bread versus cornbread. That's the difference. It's made the same way with stock. It has the vegetables in there. Some people put, the sage. Traditional does have sage and poultry seasoning. But the only difference is the bread. Long story short.
It seemed like the traditional dressing had nothing but white bread.
And sugar.
And sugar. I mean, we didn't even see black specks that might be pepper.
Yeah, I understand all that. Like I mentioned, the first step I did Monday morning, I heard about the cornbread. So the next step is, or the dressing rather. So the next step is consulting with the management team and Carla. By the way, Carla did get promoted. She's the chef manager now. So, so I wanted to share that news. So it's her continued development. I'm happy for her. So she's certainly a valued member. And now she can continue her growth and all the expertise. So the next step is the recipe audits. So the recipe was not followed. So I'm not going to, no pun intended, sugarcoat it. Yeah. Doom, doom. Yeah. No pun intended. And that doesn't, and that's something we can, take light of, but I didn't take light of it because it didn't make y'all happy. And, but I'm glad we can laugh about it now. Monday I got beat up a little bit, but but that laughter helped heal some of the bruises. But the recipe wasn't followed. So that's what Carla and myself and the team is looking into because we have to follow the recipe. So with that being said, this was a great session. I really appreciate all of your input. And I'm going to hand it back over to Melinda. If she has any final comments because I know she has to catch the flight. This was a great feedback session, if you would agree, Melinda.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us.
So before, everyone leave, I'm going to pass it back to her. If she has any final words.
I just want to say thank you for letting me be here today and go over Happy or Not. I think it's great that Springmore is doing this for you. Not a lot of retirement communities invest into the residents like Springmore seems to. They seem to really care about your opinions. And that's nice, because you guys, you've been around. You know better about how food operates than probably most of us. So it's nice that they care about your opinion and that they're willing to change. They want to know so that they can make it better for you. So, I applaud them that they care enough about you to have a service like this. And thank you for having me here today. It was a pleasure meeting you. I love this place, so you have a great home. So thank you.
So before we close out, let's give Melinda a hand.
Thank you.